If you like Taste Test and you want to keep the music digestion sessions going every week and get some exclusive bonus content, stick around afterwards for details. But first, let's start the show. Have a taste.
You are now in the zone. With Taste Test Live.
Hey, what's jazzin'?
Hello.
It's time for Taste Test Live. Yes, Taste Test Live here. We're here for some exclusive interviews, music, news, and laughs. And joining me in the studio is my Taste Test Live co-host, Miss MJ Baker.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, welcome.
Yay.
Welcome back. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing pretty well.
Pretty well?
Yeah.
Guess how I'm doing?
How are you, Oz?
I'm exquisite.
Are you really?
Yeah.
I am ambidextrous.
Oh, really?
Good.
Okay.
That means both sides are working.
Nice. The duality of it all. I love it. Both sides.
Both sides.
Right. Okay. All right. That's what's up. So can you take a quick moment and just tell our first-time listeners what the Taste Test Live podcast is all about?
On Taste Test Live, we discuss what's happening in the entertainment industry. Our podcast will now be monthly and feature exclusive artist interviews and new music releases you probably won't hear anywhere else.
Mm-hmm. And if you're interested or you know somebody that might be interested and want to promote their upcoming single, a new album, their concert, or just to drop by and share their latest project, please get in touch with us. They can head over to tastetest.live or www.tastetest.live, and we have a web form there that you can complete and be a guest on the show.
If you like what you heard, please follow us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Taste Test Radio. Head over to www.tastetestlive, where you can find all of our old episodes and hear past guest interviews. Taste Test Live is a fully syndicated podcast and is on podcast services or wherever you listen to your podcast.
That's right. That's right. So we're back for season 2 of Taste Test Live, and joining us in the studio is our guest this week, Miss Yanira Cardona.
Yeah!
Welcome.
I'm excited. I feel like I should be talking in my ASMR voice with you guys. Is this how I should be talking?
No, we want you to talk like you normally talk.
Because you know I'm Latina, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm
She
like,
brings...
loud.
Be live.
Yes, La Fuego. La Fuego. In case you guys don't know what La Fuego is.
It's fire.
Yes, fire.
Fire.
F-I-Y-A.
I'm going to calm
Fire.
down my inner Cardi B, though.
La Fuego.
Oh.
Cardi B, go away. I need
Why?
J-Lo right now.
Oh, you need J-Lo? Okay. Why? So what's the difference between the Cardi B and the J-Lo?
I mean, there's not that much of a difference, I feel like.
Okay.
Cardi is just more, like, publicly more herself.
Yes.
J-Lo knows she has to keep an image in the public, but J-Lo,
She doesn't have to anymore.
Yeah, she does.
I think she still does.
she does.
You think so?
Yeah. She's very loved by the American market, and so she has to be aware of that. So it's understandable.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's why they get along so well, because J-Lo knows she could be J-Lo, Jennifer,
Yeah.
with her.
Jenny
so.
from the block.
Well, because just look at it. Like, when she was Jenny from the block and she was dating Sean Puffy Combs, she was like Cardi B.
Ish.
She was 50% of what Cardi is now.
See.
And then when she really started picking up steam,
Yep.
Puffy looked up one day and J-Lo was gone.
True that.
Poof.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure, and then she got her a white boy in Ben Affleck.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
To take
took
up
me
her
back.
status, yeah.
Yeah, they really did help her out with the American market, because in the Hispanic market, she's J-Lo. So we loved her since Selena. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
we knew about her, but it was, I think, like what you said, with when she got with Puff Daddy, the African American community noticed her more, I feel like. And then when she got with Ben,
Right.
definitely that other market.
She became a household name.
Yeah,
at that point.
correct.
Yeah.
And then the dress. We all know the green dress.
Right, the green dress.
So back to what brought us to this conversation. Are you bringing some cardi or are you going to bring some jello?
A little bit of both. Depends.
Okay.
I'll
All right.
behave. No, I'm good.
No, you're encouraged
Don't
to be
behave.
yourself. So one reason why I wanted you to be here is because, guess what? It is Hispanic Heritage Month.
Yes.
We are right in the beginning of it. And I'm super, super excited. Last year, I had the opportunity to curate an entire show dedicated to Hispanic Heritage Month. And it was fun.
It was great. I remember
Yeah.
me and my mom listened.
Really?
Yes.
What'd you think? Did
I
you like
loved it. I really did.
Did I do it well? Like, I mean, you felt like, okay, he knows his music.
You did. You did well. And you did your research because I remember you asked me, like, what do you think? So you did good.
Okay.
It was great.
All right. That's what's up. So this year, we're going to do something a little different. For those of you who are listening to the podcast portion, if you tune into the radio on Saturday night, it's going to be September 20th.
September 21st.
September 21st. Ha! September 21st, Saturday night at 11 p.m. on WJCT, you will hear an actual guest curation, a little bit of Latina Fuego.
Fuego. Yeah.
Yeah, Latina Fuego.
Yes.
So we have that coming, and I'm super, super excited to be able to share that with you guys. So you have to listen to the radio portion of it. We may play a song or so in the background, just to get you guys primed up and ready for that music.
Yep.
So it's my understanding a lot of it is salsa,
Yes.
right?
Because the salsa music, like the salsa industry, the movement is dying, like straight up is dying. Record labels, I used to work with record labels, Universal Music Group Latino in Miami. I work with, I know people that work with Sony, blah, blah, blah. And one of the main things they say is like, yeah, we're not looking for salseros. So they're looking now for like the next, reggaeton right now. Reggaeton, obviously, especially now.
Yeah.
It's so worldwide.
But even in the Latinx community, reggaeton is popular.
It's still popular. Salsa is popular with our parents and even maybe kids my generation because we grew up with our parents the same. But this younger generation, they don't know any. They only know Marc Anthony. Like, that's it. They think
Really?
of salsa and they only think of Marc Anthony and Victor Manuel, and
Yeah.
but as far as like La Fania All-Star, who helped bring that movement, Ruben Blades, who's a singer-songwriter, Richie Ray, Bobby Cruz, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you tell them those names and they're like,
Who?
If it doesn't get played in the club, they don't know. So
is it kind of like, for example, this generation looks at Beyonce, but, some of them may not know Shaka Khan or Minnie Riperton or, that kind of thing.
Or even Billie Holiday. Like, they'll be like, wait, who's that? And then these are...
So it's the same.
bit dated.
It's the same thing. Yep. And especially, you would think that with technology, it would help us with YouTube since we have YouTube and all that. But it doesn't. So I wanted to put a lot of salsa in to get people excited and enjoy salsa. I love salsa. It's so much fun to dance. I love dancing it. Even if you don't know how to dance, even watching couples dance it, it's such a romantic, sexy way to dance. And the good thing about salsa, there's different genres of salsa, which is what I'm gonna showcase on Saturday. Not all the salsas are the Tito Puente that everyone thinks of, the Oye Como Va. Not all of that goes like that. So we're gonna showcase the different salsas that there are, Boogaloo, blah blah blah. So you don't want to miss that.
I can't wait. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very excited. But before we continue, I'd like to take a quick moment and tell our audience who you are. Since you're a woman of many talents and mystery. All right. So take a quick moment and read your bio. Since the age of 17, Yanira Cardona has worked in radio. She worked in AM and FM stations from lower power to commercial stations. Once she realized her love for radio, she decided to attend Full Sail University, graduating as the advanced achiever of her 2012 class. Receiving her associates in recording arts and bachelor's in music business, as soon as Yanira graduated, she already had an internship lined up in the record label, Universal Music Group Latino, in their marketing and public relations department. She worked on a project with Alejandro Sanz, Luis Fonsi, Marco Antonio Solis, Juan Gabriel, Juanes, and many more. While working in UMG Latino, she got offered a job as a junior marketing and publicist for Acústyle Marketing. And she also worked for Pina Records and artists such as Archangel, Zion and Lennox, Plan B, Elvis Crespo, and many more. Although she was content in her job, she couldn't resist the offer to work as the marketing and sales and account manager for Norman Media Group in Jacksonville, Florida. There, Yanira organized 3 back-to-back festivals called Jacksonville Hot Summer Fiesta, where over 10,000 people attended. 10,000, right? Yanira was also the manager of the first 24-hour reggaeton station, Urbana FM, in Orlando, Florida. Yanira now lives in Jacksonville, Florida, where she started her own marketing and production company called YaYa Productions and is the promotions director for the urban and Latin stations for iHeartMedia Jacksonville. She created a Hispanic festival named Viva la Fiesta, which celebrates the Hispanic culture. She also helped develop the first Hispanic Culture Film Festival in Jacksonville. She co-founded Women Empowering Women in Jacksonville. This is a nonprofit that is a safe place for women to get together once a month and discuss issues that affect us, women, or affect women. Yanira loves to work for and with the community. She attends every city, JTA, JEA, JAA, etc., to make sure that the Hispanic community is being represented. She dreams to see her city united no matter the race or financial status.
Yes.
Quite a list of accomplishments.
I'm over here listening. I'm like, oh my God, who is that?
Right. Did I do all that? Right. You did that. So the question for you is, when do you have time to do all this?
Right.
I don't. I don't sleep that much. This is why I'm an only child, because my mom said I had the energy of 100 kids in me.
Oh my God.
I don't know. I working for the community, like, it just makes me happy. I'm a people person. Like, I love meeting people, and I love hearing people's stories and backgrounds. And I'm really privileged. I'm a Navy brat. My parents are Puerto Rican. I was born in Long Beach, California. If you ask me where I'm from, I'm gonna tell you Puerto Rico. So,
Right.
because my parents were very, that's the culture that I was raised in. But being a Navy brat and living around the world, you get to meet people from all different cultures and backgrounds and beliefs. And something that my mom really wanted to install in me, she wanted to make sure that I wasn't a spoiled brat, because being an only child, you could easily be a spoiled brat. So my mom, especially when we moved to Panama at that time, Panama wasn't as well financially as it is now. So the first night we moved to Panama, I remember I was 7 years old, and I remember seeing a girl, like, she must have been like 12, 13 years old, with a newborn baby on the streets asking for money. And that was the first time I've ever seen or experienced anything like that. And from there on, my mom made sure that I would participate in different things. We went to go in Panama. There was legit like a little town where it was like nothing but homeless people, and they built homes out of card boxes. Like, it's crazy. So my mom makes sure that I volunteered in a lot of things, and that I appreciated everything I had. Like, even if I just have a roof over my head and a bed on the floor, at least I have that compared to other kids. So working for the community for me is what makes me happy. Like, what brings me joy, and seeing other people happy and being able to connect them with other people, and, help people. A lot of business owners don't know how to do certain things. Like, if I can help you out with anything, why not?
Yeah. Well, it shows. I mean, from the first time I met you, I think we were instantly gravitated towards each other, just because I'm an energy insensitive person.
Yeah.
And your energy was infectious. I'm like, I gotta know her.
Right.
Like, there's something about her that I need to know.
Good.
You just are a radiating light beam.
Oh, thank you.
I think you represent your Hispanic community well.
Thank you.
They would be proud to, and based on what I see, I've seen you at lots of events. The communities, I can speak for them. I'm telling you, they're proud. They're proud of you.
Oh, thank you, guys.
So what's next for you?
What's next?
Yeah.
So, right now, I'm still doing Viva la Fiesta. You have to go on our website to find out information on that. But Viva la Fiesta is moving from October. We want to get out of the hurricane season. So we're probably going to be doing it in March and April. Right now, I'm working on with other organizations here in Jacksonville to help bring those services to the community. A lot of immigrants are moving here, and not illegal immigrants. People, let's
clarify.
There's a difference between illegal immigrants. I don't even like saying that, but a lot of Hispanics are moving here that don't understand how things work. For example, how to buy a house, and they get scammed a lot of times. So a lot of this hard working money that they have, they're getting scammed, or they work with a lawyer and the lawyer scams them also. So we're building a program right now that people can call. It's going to be a hotline where people call and they'll be able to get, they'll be able to call and ask, hey, this is the service I'm looking for. Who would you guys recommend? And then we'll go recommend them to the different organizations that will be involved. So that's something that I want to work on.
That's beautiful. Lots
really
of community
great.
work. Yeah, I mean, really helping the community where they
really
need
cool.
it most.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's what I want.
Well, I guess for me, I'm just kind of amazed by your story. Now, being in the music industry, like on the other side, the business marketing side of it, and being a woman, I always ask women when they come in here, what has been your experience climbing that corporate ladder, as
That's
a woman
great,
and as a woman of color,
Oh, my God. Let me tell you. I would tell you this. The last station I was at, the radio programmer smacked me in my face. Yes.
What?
This happens. This happened.
Like what?
Yes.
Like,
He literally, it wasn't the first time he got in my face. He got in my face, and this happened in August. I'm sorry, this happened February 2016. The August before that, so August 2015, he got in my face in front of the owners, in front of everyone else in the studio, because I laughed at a joke because he was arguing with another sales rep, and I laughed at the joke that the sales rep said. So he came to my face, and he's like, "You're lucky you're a woman, because if not, I would smack you right now," in front of everyone. So when that happened, the owner of the station was like, well, do you want me to fire him? And I understood like the importance of having him because he had such a big influence in the industry. I was like, you know what? Let's keep him, but I'm not going to work with him. When they suspended him for a month, I was like, but I can't work with him like that anymore. We moved to we moved to new studios. We were doing a giveaway for a circus. That wasn't the first time we gave away tickets for, so he knew that it was like 2 tickets. And I'm at a meeting with the client. When I get out of the meeting, I have like 5 missed calls, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? So I called, and he's like screaming on the top of his lungs. He's like, am I supposed to give this winner 2 tickets? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, because of you. And he just starts like cursing at me. Like my father never even spoken to me like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So I get to the studio, and he was there with the front of his. Now, keep in mind, we just moved into a new studio. There was no cameras or anything. So we get in there, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? What happened? And he just starts going crazy. Like, he's like, now I have to waste my time and my gas to meet with the winner out of your mistake. And, like, just really speaking really bad about me. So I turn around and I walk away. And when I walk away, he says something else really disrespectful. And that's when I turn around and I start screaming at him. I'm like, hey, you should not be talking to me like this at all. Like, you're not my father. I don't know who you think I am, but you don't talk to me like that. When I finished saying that, he was in my face. And I was like, what are you going to do? And he pushed me. And when he pushed me, I had the folder in my hand. So the folder, like, grazed his arm. So I guess he thought that I, like, hit him or something.
After he pushed you.
Yeah. And he, like, open hand smacked me.
Oh, my God.
And it was one of those moments in my life because I've never, again, my father, no one has, a man has ever placed hands. It's like, what do you do in that position? Like, I rationally was like, either we're gonna kill each other right now, or I could just call the cops, and that's exactly what I did. I called the cops, and that we're still in, I'm still dealing with that situation right now. But after that, I was depressed. I left to Puerto Rico. My dad lives in Puerto Rico. I didn't want to work in radio anymore. I didn't know what I was gonna do, and that was just a cherry on top because the station that I was working at is the industry, the kind of music it is. it's dominated by men. So I was the general manager. I was the only woman in the company.
Oh, wow.
And I was dealing with club owners, promoters, and club owners and promoters can be very disrespectful.
Right.
There's a lot of men out there that don't like to work with women.
Right.
They don't like to negotiate with women or do business with women.
Yeah.
And so you always got to find a way to kind of play around that. So I already kind of was like tense. So obviously when that happened, I was like, okay, maybe I just need to take a break. And I went to Puerto Rico, took a year break. I bought a house with my father out there. And Hurricane Maria hit us.
Oh,
I was
wow.
out there during Hurricane Maria. But when I was out there with no electricity, no technology, no nothing, it really, really makes you focus and start to think about your life. Like, what do you want to do? What do you want to leave? What's your legacy that you want to leave here? And I was like, okay, I'm not a quitter. I need to come back. So I came back to the States. I started YaYa Production, and I did Viva la Fiesta. And, you know, I have a great relationship with God. And for some reason, he told me, you need to go back into radio. After Viva la Fiesta, I was like, okay, now I'm going to do this. I'm just going to focus on creating events.
And all of this is because of what happened. You had some downtime
Right.
because of Maria.
Yeah, all of this. Like, it made me
Amazing.
think about, what do I like to do in my life? What brings me joy? It's no longer, I don't do things for money. I wish I was that kind of person, because
Right.
maybe I would be on another level.
Yeah.
But I don't do things necessarily for money. I do things because I realize that I want to do things that make me happy, that brings me peace. And I was at church after Viva la Fiesta. Viva la Fiesta was great. We had over 8,000 people attend the festival here in Jacksonville last year. And I went to church, and coincidentally, that day, the message was like, don't be afraid to retrace your footsteps. Just because you messed up once or something went wrong once doesn't mean that you were meant to leave that path.
Right.
It was just a bump that you're supposed to learn and just try again.
Right.
And I'm like, this is so crazy. Why? Because, you know, I'm like,
Right on time.
right on
The
time.
on-time word.
And then, like, literally, Jacksonville, I heard Jacksonville was pretty hard to get in. Period. I heard to get in Jacksonville was pretty hard because no one wants to leave the company. But coincidentally, I had a friend, Jorge Lopez. He's like, hey, we have a position here open. We think you would be great. And so, like, you know, everything just happens
Right.
for
Lined
a
right up,
reason.
yeah.
And so if it wasn't for that little hiccup that I had with the other station, I probably wouldn't be here. But being a woman in this industry and being Latina in this industry, and having an accent, you know what I mean? And it's definitely something that I always tell women, like, you have to be tough.
Yeah.
You have to have thick skin. You can't take everything I understand, like, you can't be too sensitive in this industry.
Right.
You really, really, really can't. Because there's going to be people out there that are not going to like you just because they're just a-holes. You know what I mean? But it's the industry, so you're still going to have to work with them. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
when I was with Pina Records, I had an issue with Arcángel, the reggaetonero. He has a strong personality, but so do I. So, you know, it's just like, okay, well, unfortunately, I don't like you, but we got to work together. So it is what it is. You just got to be professional at all times.
Right.
And I love being professionally, how do you say, you know how, like, you could disrespect somebody, but professionally?
Right.
Sometimes you gotta learn
Nice,
that. You gotta
nasty.
learn that trick in this industry.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
you gotta learn how to throw shade. That's what it is.
There you go.
Because this industry is very shady.
Yeah.
Very, very shady. I'm not gonna mention the artist that I had an interview for after I did my internship with Universal. This very, very international, well-known artist. They had a position available, and I went in for the interview with him and his business partner. Then he left, and it felt like it was like a setup, like, because then his business partner acted different, and then was like trying to get me to do things like, and I'm like, oh no, what? So you got to be careful with this industry.
Yeah.
You definitely
Yeah.
got to be careful. I
But
understand.
it sounds like you're smart
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
and well thought out.
But sometimes, like, a lot of women in that position will feel pressured.
Right.
And I understand it. So if you find that yourself in that position, like, no, guys, walk away, because they're not real professionals, and they're not going to help you and get you where you need in your career.
Ultimately, it's not worth it in the long run. Yeah.
Well, I think the cool thing is something that you said, concerning. So I guess if we're chasing clout, which is what they say, then you would feel pressure because you feel like you don't have any way out.
Yeah.
But I think the difference is when we know, I am where I'm supposed to be, and this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So whatever it is you're doing, sir or ma'am, to deter me, it's like not everybody is that focused, or, not even that focused, or they feel like, oh my gosh, if I don't give into this, or like you called the cops on that guy. And some women may have not called the cops because they would have felt like, oh my gosh, it's going to jeopardize my job. It's going to jeopardize this or
They
that.
fear retaliation.
Right, right. Or even if it was a man, I feel, it just all depends on what we consider our source to be. And do we consider the industry our source, or that popularity? Or is it, the Lord, higher power, whatever everybody speaks of. So,
But this industry is definitely dominated by men. But I'm happy to see that a lot of women are going in there. Yeah. Right now, my market president here in Jacksonville is a woman. Yeah. The sales manager in my department is a woman. The district manager is a woman. So we're definitely little by little taking over the industry, or becoming getting more involved in the industry. So it's softening up a little bit, and ever since the whole Me Too movement, women have been feeling more confident and been speaking up more and have a voice more. So I'm happy. It's sad that it had to happen, a Me Too movement, in order for women to feel comfortable to be able to talk and, state their opinion, whether they feel comfortable or uncomfortable with the situation. But I'm happy that it happened. Because now we're,
Let me ask you a question about your family life, because it sounds like your family, and you mentioned your father a lot. You mentioned your mom. Your support system, your family, are they the reason that you're so strong, that you're so wise, that you're so tenacious?
Yes, definitely.
Who was your role model in your family?
Oh, man, both my mom and my dad. I'm very, very much like mom and my dad. Like Janita, work-wise, is definitely my father. Like my dad, from 7 in the morning to 4 p.m., he's Chief Cardona. Don't you ever forget it. But from 4:01 to 6:59, he is Cardona. He is not Chief Cardona. Don't talk to him about it. It's like different. So
gotcha.
I kind of like learned to distance, like, work is work and fun is fun.
So all those different hats you got to put on.
Yeah.
And then my mom, like the whole like being involved with the community, and my love for music and art definitely came from my mom.
She's so easygoing. When I met her, she's just so easy. She's just so laid back and so chill.
Yeah, she is. But she's also Latina and very feisty, so don't try her.
Don't want to see that side come out. Okay.
But I definitely got my strength from them. My family, I grew up with my mom's brother and his kids, Tio Pocho, and Melissa was the same age as I. And Melissa got diagnosed with cancer, with brain tumor at the age of 5. We both were 5. And so from then on, we were in church like Monday through Sunday, in and out of the hospital with her and treatments. Then we had to move to Panama, so I wasn't there for 3.5 years of her life. And then when we moved back to Virginia when I was 11, we got, I guess, to spend time with her. And growing up, my cousin ended up passing away at the age of 13 from cancer. But growing up with someone with cancer and at that young age, I really, really, really learned how to live my life every day like it's my last day. Yeah. Like, even as a child, like, you think kids don't understand. They understand way more than what you think, than what me and you both think. And I remember like playing with the kid this one week, and the next week, that kid wouldn't be there, and having real life conversations with my cousin. Like, I'm scared that that's going to happen to me. And so I definitely got my strength from Melissa, from seeing her go through that process at such a young age. And her, even with her cancer, I never once saw Melissa ask, like, why me? Why is this happening to me?
Mm-hmm.
In fact, she always, like, was the opposite. Like, she always, I'm getting the chills just talking about her, but any toy that she could give, any kind of, Melissa was just such a loving person
Awesome.
that I live my life every day, like, in honor of her. Like, I want her to be proud of me. So that's where I get my
sure she's
strength
with
from.
you. She's here right now.
Yes.
Her spirit. Yeah, no, really. Because, I mean, it's interesting. That's beautiful. It's a beautiful, that's where your strength comes from. It sounds like your strength comes from a lot of different places.
Yeah.
But your cousin and having that experience,
Definitely.
I couldn't imagine what that was like.
That it's different. It's really, I mean, growing up in hospitals in and out with her, that's why I'm really I support 100% the Ronald McDonald Foundation, the Make-A-Wish Foundation,
Dream come
St.
true.
Jude's. I support them 100% because they helped my cousin through her journey of, that, and my aunt and uncle, seeing my aunt and uncle visually upset all the time. My mom also, and my dad also, we all the adults were affected. So
Right.
you definitely learn, it definitely at a young age, I learned to value everything I have and be grateful for everything I have.
Yeah.
So
Very good qualities. Very, very good qualities to
is
have,
good.
for sure.
Yeah.
yeah.
So let's talk about the community one more time, because I think everything I read in your bio obviously talks about what you've done. You obviously love media. There's a reason you love media, because you're a natural. I see you in the studio. I see you doing video. I see you doing video promotions and contests all the time. And you are effervescent and bubbly, and
I just want people to feel my energy.
They do.
I just want them to, when they see me, I want them to be like, oh, here's Yanira. Let's see what she's going.
Yeah.
Let's see what silliness she's doing.
I just watch it just because even the dance. I mean, your boomerangs.
Yeah.
I love them. I love it.
Thank you.
And it's truly who you are. I think you do a really good job of capturing your essence on social media.
Oh, thank you.
So when people meet you, they go, "Oh, she really is like that."
Yeah.
That's
I try.
good.
I try to keep it.
So that's a
real.
level of authenticity that a
Yes.
lot of people kind of I know I have a radio voice, and when I get behind a microphone, it's like, oh my God, your voice. People say that to me, and when you're around me, you don't talk. That's not how you talk on the radio. So
Right.
it's a little different in that regard. But I think that I also resemble the same qualities on social media. But you got it down to a science.
Oh, thank
you.
you.
Really do. Yeah.
I try to keep my social media what entertains me is what I want to put out there. So I don't like to post. I'm not one to post everything I do.
Right.
I think that's
Yeah.
that's just not my style. I'm nothing against anyone that likes to post everything I do. I like to post good content. If you're really gonna spend 15 seconds of your valuable life
Let it be
watching
worth
me,
it, yeah.
I'm gonna make sure that at least I make you laugh once, or that you learn something. Whether I like to really showcase the different parks that there are here in Florida, especially Jacksonville. So I'd like to showcase that. So that's what I want. As long as you just have, at least I put a smile on your face once, or it saw me try something and you want to try it now. That's what I want to do. That's
beautiful.
That's the purpose of my Instagram, is to inspire you to enjoy and have fun with your life. That's the energy I want to put out on my Instagram.
You do a fantastic
I have to
job
follow
of
you. What's your social media?
It's YaYa Love FM, YaYa with a Y, so YaYa Love FM. And I will follow y'all back.
it. Now, you talk about social media. We talked about family, music,
Música.
música, la música.
La música.
It's a part of your life.
Sí.
So, the fiestas, all the parties that you do, these big events, that one with the 10,000 people.
Yeah.
How did you do that?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Really? Paint a picture. What without giving away the whole story.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What do you do to make that happen?
manifest. I am a firm believer in writing everything down, any idea down. I don't care how stupid it is. You need to write it down, because once you write it down and you see it, it's going to force you to be like, all right, this is real life. This could really happen.
Yep.
And then from there, like, just start planning it out. You know what I mean? Like, if this is your first time you want to put on an event, let's say, right, any kind of event is really kind of the same. That
process is the same.
Process is kind of the same thing. The first thing you gotta do is write everything out. What's the purpose of the event? What is it? Is it to celebrate a culture? Is it to showcase music? Is it to showcase the vendors that are around? Like, what's the purpose of your event? From there, you need to write not a business plan, but break down financially what's gonna cost you. And once you have that, then you can start creating a sales package. Now, I'm going to tell you something. If you like sales, if you don't like sales, and you want to put on an event, you better start liking sales.
Right.
You have to.
Because you need to.
Yeah,
even for your own business. Like,
Absolutely.
you need to be able to sell your idea, your business.
Yeah, because if you're not believable, if you don't believe in your business,
Right.
why would somebody else believe in your business?
And
or
it's
your-
the same
or
thing for an
event?
event. So once you create a budget of what the expenses are going to be, that's where you sit down and you need to create your sponsorship packages.
How much money you got to bring in?
How much money you got to bring in with that, and be smart about it. If you think you could get a lot of sponsors for this, cool. If not, then do exclusive packages. You know what I mean? There's different ways to work around with that. And don't be afraid to send out emails. Don't be afraid to call everybody. Like, why? I don't understand why our generation is afraid of no. They're so afraid of a
rejection.
word.
Right.
Word.
And you know, it's so funny because this morning I did a video just talking about perception and how, you know, part of it was perception personally and professionally, and just how, like, when you're sending out these emails and as an artist and people are saying, no, I don't like your vibe. I don't think your vibe is what we need for, you know, our festival, our show or whatever like that. And you hear so many no's, it can start wearing on you.
Yeah, psychologically
but then-
breaking you down.
Right. But
Yeah.
then you have to but it's like, but then understanding that, okay, yeah, this is still what I'm purposed to do.
And I'm going to eventually get a yes.
I'm going to eventually get a
And
yes.
it's like
I
tell people, the no is not about you personally.
Right.
It's about whatever service you're trying to provide.
Right.
So that's something that if you're trying to get into business, start your own business, you definitely need to learn to separate your personal feelings with work. So when someone says no in an email, it's not that they're saying no to you. They're just saying no to your service. That's all it is.
Right.
And move on to the next. And once you have your sponsorship, man, that's going to be the easy part, because everything else is pretty easy
Something
to
I
do.
learned in sales is understanding the why. The why. Like, when you talked about that, like, what is the why? Why am I doing a festival?
Yeah.
Why do I have this product? Why do I feel passionate enough about it to want to share it with the world?
Yeah.
Understanding that why first.
Yeah. And find a niche.
There it is. Yeah.
Find a niche. Like me, for example, I saw that the Hispanic community was lacking in events.
I was going to ask you. I was going to say, yeah.
That's where I was
that's my
like, well,
question.
hold on. Let me do this then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and to be honest with you, I never intended for my career to necessarily be towards the Hispanic industry. It just happened to lead me that way.
Well, because you love your people.
And I do, and I love it. It's not, I don't regret it at all.
Yeah.
I love
Right.
it because I like it even more because my people are more open-minded with, like, me helping them if they need
Right.
my help or whatever.
Yeah, you build that trust over the years.
Well, I think
Yeah.
too, like when I started, you know, because it seems like I'm always working when these festivals are happening, but it's really cool to see the community come together. And I did not, you know, you don't know how big the Hispanic community is until something's going on.
Right.
And then you're like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, we got all these different
Yeah.
people, you know,
Yeah.
and then, you know, and then people who you think are black, and you start hearing them talk Spanish, you know,
Yeah,
and you're like,
everywhere.
what a minute, you know, or whatever. So
Afro-Latino.
Afro-Latino.
yeah, and then I mean, even my family members, like, you know, are like, yeah, I'm going down to Henning Park for the such and such festival, and I'm going, you know, his Hispanic, his history, you know, it's Hispanic history, and I'm like, how do you know about that? You know what I mean? But I mean, it's getting into
growing.
other. I love that. You know, it's getting into other communities and people that love culture, no matter what their culture is.
Yep.
Right.
They're coming out. Also, they want to come and celebrate as well, which I think is cool.
And that's why I go to a lot of these meetings to make sure that people know that, like, hey, we're here. Because if you go to a country event, we have a country station.
Yeah.
And we have at least 2 Hispanic go to whatever, like, if it's a small event, let's say a remote. I'm talking about a remote. If I have a remote in my country station, out of the 15 people that went, 2 or 3 are Hispanic. And anything, like, whatever it is, if it's they had a vegetable festival.
Veggie Fest.
Veggie Fest. Sorry, I can never say that word. But they had a Veggie Fest. Hispanics there. They had, like, I mean, we are everywhere. And 9% of Jacksonville right now is Hispanic, but they're estimating by next year's census that 13 to 15% of Jacksonville will be Hispanic. Wow. It's the fastest growing, it's the fastest growing population here in Jacksonville. And a lot of us are business owners. A lot of us are military because of the base. For example, I'm a Navy brat. We moved here because they closed the base in Puerto Rico. The biggest third naval base was in Puerto Rico, Roosevelt Roads. When they closed that base in 2004, that's when you really saw the boom of Hispanics here in Jacksonville. Yeah. Because a lot of those people that were stationed there got stationed here. And, you know, Hispanics, we just like to have fun.
Yeah.
You tell us where there's a party at, we're going to be there.
Fiesta
if you show us love, we show you love.
So true.
One of my closest friends is Puerto Rican. And so at one point, I just started back eating meat this year. And so I wasn't eating meat, and I loved her empanadas. And so, you know, so she had her mom helping her make empanadas. And her mom was like, so she had this pan of broccoli and cheese. And so her mom's like, what is... So she said, she called me and said, you laughing because she said her mom was like, what is the broccoli for? And she was like, oh, this is for MJ, you know, because she doesn't eat meat. And her mom was like,
¿Qué?
Yeah, like, ¿Cómo? What? Like, are you crazy? And so when her mom saw me, she goes, so her mom's sister is next to her and they're speaking in Spanish. She goes, no meat, huh? No meat in your empanadas, like so they pick fun at me, and then she made a pan because she was like, we should probably, you know, it's probably good, and nobody would touch the broccoli empanadas. Nobody would touch them.
I'm gonna be honest with you, not to interrupt your story, but I've never had, probably nor will ever eat a broccoli empanada.
Listen, but it was so, you know what? But it was still so good because
of the cheese.
Because of the cheese, and then it's deep fried, and it's like, you know, or whatever. And
did you enjoy it?
I ate on those empanadas for a week because it was a pan. She made a huge pan.
No, girl, I gotta make you some.
So
I told my mom to make you some.
Let me tell you, because we talked about culture, we talked about events, we talked about your family, we didn't want to spend a lot of time talking about Maria, but there was a positive story out of Maria.
Yes.
So we got that. You talked about music.
Yes.
Food. This leads because we're talking about food now. You know, I'm a foodie, right?
La comida.
Yeah.
So my favorite Hispanic cuisine, there was a place, this is probably before you got to Jacksonville.
Okay.
It was on Bay Street. And it was in the Blackstone building, but it was on the ground floor of the Blackstone building. This was in the late 90s, early 2000s, and it was called Ed's Puerto Rican Cuisine. And on Thursday nights, he would have all of the Hispanic dancing, like you can see them dancing, like packed in there, and everybody's dancing and sweating. It was awesome. But during the day, he had a fantastic restaurant, and I have not been able to find this cuisine. It's called piñón.
Oh. Yeah.
Very similar to patalón.
Yeah,
very similar, but piñón. Can you describe it for people in the audience?
So it's sweet plantain, and it's a full-blown sweet plantain, and they cut it in half, and they like a hot dog. Like they cut it in half like a hot dog, and then they stuff it with meat, with carne molida, which is ground beef, and they put cheese and some people do some other different stuff in it. It's really good.
I'm raising my hand in the
And
studio
then
here.
do
Like,
you
my hand
bake
is
it,
up.
or what do you?
You put it in the oven. Yeah, you put it in the oven like if it was like a lasagna.
So how he
so
did
the
his.
salty sweet.
Yes. So
Mm-hmm.
imagine what he would do. He did layer. So he did the plantains, and then he'd do the meat. What do you call the meat mixture again?
The ground beef, carne molida.
Carne molida.
Yep.
Carne molida, then another layer of plantain, then more carne molida,
Yep.
and another layer. It was like literally like a
It's a
lasagna. Instead of
lasagna.
using
my
noodles,
gosh.
you use those
So
plantains.
the salty sweet is probably so good.
It's so good,
my
and then the cheese on top. And what they do is they broil. Typically, they put it on broil so the top can be more crispy.
Yeah.
And so when you bite into it, it's so delicious. But
Listen,
So can you make that?
yeah,
You promise? Yo prometo.
Te lo prometo, te lo voy a
Okay,
hacer, te lo
oh my
juro.
God.
Te lo juro.
okay.
listen. Okay, so and this is why I tell him. My girlfriend's Puerto Rican. I tell her, I said, I swear Puerto Rican and black people are cousins. Because
Yeah.
the way we eat,
Oh, yeah.
I was like, because our cultures just love,
Yeah.
Seasoning.
we will take any
Seasoning.
We
Sazon all
Right.
day. I
Yeah.
use
But
sazon right now and adobo right now.
She will, we will take anything and make it a cuisine. Like
Yep.
we will just say, oh, this dandelion looks good. What could I make from this,
And
with
that's
this
so
dandelion? And we will do that, and then
Yes,
it'll
we
be
do.
like,
And it's like
I mean?
another world. Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
definitely. And then she makes sofrito for me. She
My
makes
mom.
fresh
Yes.
sofrito.
My mom makes fresh sofrito, which I just learned how to make from her.
And wait. There's one more thing.
What?
So Christmas time.
Coquito.
Last year, Yanira brought me my own coquito.
Really?
Yes.
I have not had it yet.
Yes.
Let me tell you.
I be making them.
If I can have in a perfect world for me, if I could have the piñón and my friend Nicholas, who lives in Canada now, he made this amazing lechon that he soaked in Bacardi for it's roast pork. Amazing. But that's the only time I'll eat pork is from him.
Right.
So, piñón, lechon asado, and a nice cold glass of coquito.
Tan rico.
Happiness.
So my good friend Mariluz Ufret opened a lechonera here.
Really?
A Puerto Rican straight up lechonera. A lechonera is a business that does roast pork, and they do it exactly like Puerto Rican style, like the whole pig on the on the pole, and they cook it for hours. And honestly, it's the best roast pork I've ever had.
What?
So if you guys want to go, it's called Lechonera Los Forros. It's
Okay.
on 301. I'm going to take you guys so you guys can go. It's
Okay.
really, really, really good.
Oh my
Hey,
gosh.
that sounds like we got
I'm
a field
down,
trip coming. Yeah, I'm
yes.
excited.
There's some
I'm
good
always
restaurants
down
here
for
in Jacksonville.
Yeah,
There's some
there are. Yeah.
Latin Creation is really good. Latin Creation does sometimes the piñón that you're talking about. So
Well,
And Latin soul food truck too. My friends.
Ooh.
Yeah, they're amazing. I love their food.
Yeah.
Their food's good too.
Well, and I feel like too, sometimes I feel like because, again, my friend, like there's a place on the west side of Jacksonville. It's called Mufongos.
Mofongos.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and so she would always, tell me about that food, and she'll say, "Oh, this is like Cuban," or
Yeah.
"This is what this is," and "This is what."
So
So
good- that's a good friend.
mofongo is Puerto Rican. Mango is Dominican.
Okay.
So mofongo is made out of green plantain, and they mash it, and they put what's that called? Chicharrón, pork rinds in it, and everyone does it different.
yeah.
If they do it good, the good ones have the pork rinds in it and garlic in it, and then they stuff it with shrimp, blah blah blah, and it's really good. Mango, which is Dominican, is like a mashed potato of the plantain, and then they also make it with like red onions on the side, and they put something else in it to make it like kind of like mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
And so it's really, really good. The thing about Puerto Rican food is that everyone thinks that like Hispanic food is spicy. No, it's not.
Right.
No, it's not.
Exactly.
Caribbean food is all about seasoning. So Cubans,
Yeah.
Dominican, Puerto Rican food, actually even salt. That's why a lot of us have high blood pressure.
Right.
But like Mexican food is spicy. It's spicy. It can be spicy. And a lot of South American plates also can be spicy. Peruvian food can be spicy also. So, but Caribbean food, for the most part, it's more about flavor. And to go back to what you were saying about Puerto Ricans and Africans, well, it's because we are. Puerto Ricans, the mix, our bloodline is, what's that? A real 100% Puerto Rican would be 100% Taino, which is the Caribbean Indian. When the Spaniards came, they killed, I think, 90% of our Indians.
Wow.
They like raped them and killed them. So then obviously you're going to have a mix of Spaniard with Taino. And then the Spaniards brought Africans for slave. So that's why Puerto Ricans, you see us all different shades of colors. I mean, I have cousins that legit are like, they look like white American or white European, like blonde, blue eyes. Like they go in the sun and get red. And I also have cousins that you got to make sure they have a flashlight on them at night because you can't see them. You know what I mean? So like, and these are like, this is my blood.
Right.
So, you know, that's why you can't really say like what a Puerto Rican looks like because we are so mixed.
Yeah.
And it's because of that bloodline, that mix of Spaniard, African, and those are the three main blood: Spaniard, African, and Taino. And so the African side, what distinguishes, I would say, the African American against the Afro Latino, is that the Afro Latinos were able to keep their culture. They were able to have their religion and practice, you know, have their foods and all that. That's why in Puerto Rico, our typical music is bomba y plena. And that came from Africa. That's why you see us with the dances and the drums and the stories from them. All the songs that we sing is typically stories from when the Africans got brought to the Spain and how the Spaniards killed the Taínos. So those are the songs that you hear in Bomba y Plena. So Puerto Ricans, we celebrate our African roots. Not so much our Spaniard, but we definitely celebrate our African roots, and our food definitely showcases it. And I think that's why, like, we get along so well. Like, every Puerto Rican...
Because we're probably cousins.
Yeah, we're probably our cousins, for real. We understand each other. We kind of have a similar history. So, yeah.
So this is why I feel like this would be a perfect opportunity to close. But this having you on, you give such a well-rounded perspective about the Hispanic and the Latino culture. You do such a good job of
Thank
it.
you.
And I wanted to make sure we covered all of the bases. What did I miss? I'm sure I missed something. We didn't talk about music, but the music will speak. You have to listen on Saturday night.
Yes.
So you can hear the influences.
Yes.
I cannot wait. So thank you so much.
No, thank you guys for having me and letting me talk.
Yeah. Do us one last favor, because I know you gave your social media plug earlier. Tell everybody how they can find you on social media. And what's next?
Okay. So my Instagram is YaYa Love FM, YaYa with the Y, YaYa Love FM. That's on Instagram, and on Facebook you can find me as Yanira Cardona. Yanira is YaNira Cardona. And if there's any which way that you want to reach out to me to help, whatever the case may be, my email is YaYa Productions with the S at the end, jax@gmail.com.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.
You guys.
Muchas gracias.
No, gracias a ustedes. Qué honor. I love it. I was very honored. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. MJ, you have any last final words?
No, I'm full.
I know.
I'm full. This was a very well-rounded
And we have a
conversation.
field trip coming up.
Yes.
We got a field trip coming up. So I'm super, super excited about that. So listen, as we close, if you like what you heard, be sure to follow us on Taste Test Radio. That's on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Also, we have a website, tastetest.live, www.tastetest.live, where you can hear this broadcast, and you can also hear all of the past shows that we've done in the past. We are doing something completely different this season.
Yes.
Completely different. We're spending more time on with these great culture changers and awesome people in our community, highlighting them more. But we're also spending more time on the radio with a little bit of influences, because we have a really amazing group of people in our community.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that love the radio. They love the music. And the goal of the podcast is to have people kind of just hear what we have to offer. And then the radio is to hear how diverse this city is.
Yeah.
You know, I was tasked with bringing urban radio to Jacksonville. And to me, urban is not necessarily black. Urban means culture. Urban means city. It means grit. It means diversity,
richness,
richness. And the goal is to highlight that on the radio, even if I have 2 hours a week. With that in mind, I'm able to do that. And I really appreciate the platform. Thank you so much to WJCT for offering me this platform. And this is going to be it for us. Thank you guys so much for listening. Be sure to share this broadcast with your friends and tune in next month when we will be back with more guests and more music.
Bye.
Bye. Taste Test Live is produced by Damian Lamar Robinson, hosted by MJ Baker and Blue Francois. This week's guest is Yanira Cardona. Show music provided by Jihan Grant. Taste Test hasn't launched a full sponsor program. Our podcast is mainly funded by its hosts and listeners like you. If you like Taste Test and want us to keep the music digestion sessions going every week, click the Become a Patron link on our website at www.tastetest.live, and you too can sign up and get some exclusive bonus content, behind-the-scenes footage, and more supporter-only content.